Hello, welcome to the Dr. Medisoft Training Series. Today will be the first video of the series, and today we're going to be covering how you set up a new practice in Medisoft. If you ever have any questions or need assistance, you can always call or email us at the phone number and email address at the bottom of this slide. We'll present that again at the end of the presentation so that you have another chance to see that. But we're going to keep the videos kind of short in this series, really focusing on just different topics, but trying to keep them short so that it's easy to stay focused and you'll be able to watch whichever videos would be important for your practice. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to go in and create a new practice in Medisoft. Creating a new practice, there's different reasons you might want to do this. If you're a billing service, for example, and you get a new billing client and you need to go ahead and set up a new practice, go ahead and keep everything separate from your current practices or practice that you're billing for. You can go ahead and create a new practice. There's some other reasons to create those depending on the situation, but for sure when you first get Medisoft, you need to come in here to create your new practice to get started. So it's very easy to create a new practice. You just go to the File menu, come down to New Practice. You're going to give your practice a name. Now this name is only used internally. So this does not go out on claims, does not go out on statements. You're just going to use this within your office just as a way to identify the practice that you're wanting to access. And you also have to give it a data path or a path or a directory where that data is going to be stored. And I'm just going to name mine the same as my practice name. All right, so I'm going to type that in and I'm going to come up here and hit create. And it's going to give me a little confirmation, just making sure that this is that I do want to proceed, and I do, so I'm going to hit yes. And then we're just going to give it a little time here for it to build the tables. So right now it's kind of building the database in the background, or the tables for the database in the background. And once it's finished, it's going to pop up a little window that's going to let us start entering our data. So we'll give it just a few moments here. Now you can have as many practices in Medisoft as you like. There's not a limit to the number of practices you set up. So Medisoft didn't make a limit for you on that. So as many as you need, feel free to set those up. Okay, so the practice name is the first thing that we're going to enter. So the practice name here is important. This does go out on statements and claims. Depending on if you're a group practice or individual practice, that might vary just a little bit, but I would enter this information like it's going to be on the claim. So in my instance, my practice name is still the same as my what we entered earlier, so we'll go ahead and re-enter that. And we'll put in our zip code. Now on your zip code, you want to make sure that you go ahead and add the additional 4 digits. It's important for some payers. Maybe all payers now that it's 5010. So go ahead and enter the additional 4 digits on your zip code. You can find that at the post office. If you don't have it, you can go to their website and they'll have a little look up there that'll help you find that. So let's go ahead and put our phone number in, fax number in. Now, if you haven't used Medisoft before, you'll notice as you're putting those numbers in, that it'll do all the punctuation for you, so you don't have to type in any of the dashes or anything like that. Now on the practice type, you have a couple of options. I'm going to set ours up as a medical practice today. Anesthesia, if you were to select anesthesia, it gives you some option or additional fields when you're entering charges so that you can specify the minutes. Chiropractic type will give you some additional fields in the case of when you're entering the patient's demographic information. But we're going to set up a medical practice and medical office, so we're going to go ahead and select medical, put in our tax ID number. And then 2 things that are real important here. You have your practice type and your entity type. We're setting up a group practice, so I'm going to go ahead and select group. On the entity type, depending on how you have the name entered up here for the practice name, since we're entering an actual business or practice name rather than an individual's name or a person's name, we're going to go ahead and select non-person up here. The extra 1 and 2 fields can get used from time to time, depending on what kind of report you might be running, or they can be used for different instances, but for the most part, those will be left blank. Now, you'll notice we have a couple of tabs going across the top up here. So we just completed the practice tab. So kind of moving on to the practice IDs. Because we're a group practice, this is where we're going to put in our group MPI number. We'll go ahead and enter our taxonomy code and tax ID number as well. So we'll go ahead and enter those in. Now, Medisoft does give you an option to create additional rules. And so one of the things that you'll see in this window right here, I have all these options set to all. So for all providers in the practice, for all insurances, for all facilities, it's going to use this data. Now, if we wanted to set up additional rules, we could. So if we had a Aetna, for example, maybe they needed a different ID or a legacy ID, we could come in and specify Aetna as the insurance carrier and set up whatever those IDs need to be in this window. So it makes it very flexible for different billing situations. And you can set up as many rules in there as you need, but we're just going to set up the one for today. All right, and so moving on, we have our Practice Pay To tab, and so this is mainly used if you have a PO box or a different location where the payments are going. The practice information has to be a physical address, but the Pay To can be PO box or any location that you'd want to receive payments, and that would also apply for statements. So in our instance, we're going to receive our payments at the practice, so I'm not going to put any additional information in, but if need be, this is where you would enter that information. All right, and so that's all there is to it. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and save that information. And so now we're really ready to move on. So for today's session, for this series, for this video, we're really at the end of today's session, and we're going to pick up next in our next video, and we'll be covering the program options in Medisoft so that we can kind of go through and look at the different features that are available, and we can kind of make selection on how we want those features to act for us as we go through and use the system. So until then, I want to thank everybody for joining for today, and we'll be picking up our next training series here shortly. So if keep an eye out for that video to be coming in the very near future. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at the phone number or email below on the video. And other than that, everybody have a wonderful day.